Hello everyone, my name is Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 14th, 2025. And I implore you, please do not buy the top. Very popular right now for crypto influencers to go on social media and tell people that they are stupid, not buying Bitcoin at this point, so on and so forth, that, Trump's economy is doing this and that, and, it's just such a good time to buy. And this is exactly the kind of speech you hear at the top. People telling retail investors, common folk, to buy the top. Heck, even hedge funds do it. So I implore you, please do not buy the top. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you do as you wish, but, not financial advice. I highly recommend against buying at this level. Now, if you are already invested and in a position and need to wait for a retracement and you're not in profit, whatever, you're fine. You'll be more than okay waiting out the retracement. The retracement's going to happen, and afterwards, you'll be fabulously wealthy. But if you're just thinking of investing fresh capital at this point in time, please do reconsider. This is the video I would ask you to watch and pay attention to. In addition to that, we're going to look at what I've been talking about in terms of my Bitcoin analysis, where I think we are, what I think is going to happen in the immediate short term, how that's going to affect altcoins. We're also going to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, how that corroborates our read on the markets, as well as the TOTAL3 chart, right, which gives us a good indication as to what altcoins will do in response to what Bitcoin's doing. So all that and more, watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. Most recently, the video I posted last, one of you commented about how they believed we were at a certain point in the Wyckoff distribution schematic, and my thoughts on that. And I thought that was a good idea, good comment. Thank you for that. I think, it's time to, revisit the Wyckoff schematic. Obviously, as you know, if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll know my expertise is in Elliott Wave analysis, so that's what I particularly use. I tend to, my eye tends to go towards Elliott Wave theory and how, that's how I, envision, make sense of price action, first and foremost, right? If it's not, support and resistance, my eye keys in on that, then I start counting waves. In this case, you'll see this is all Elliott Wave analysis, AB-based theory, okay? And I believe, and I can talk about that in a bit, but let's start with the Wyckoff analysis. And let me just say, I think it's a great idea. If you're even a casual investor, go on stockcharts.com, have a read about, the accumulation and distribution schematics and what it means and who Emil D. Wyckoff was and what he did and his theory. It's very interesting. It doesn't take that long to just read up on. It take all of 30-40 minutes. But it's very, very useful stuff. And yeah, I don't use volume in crypto. That's another discussion for another day. And I understand that it's a strong, very important feature of Wyckoff analysis. I'm aware of that. I don't use volumetric analysis in crypto. There's a reason for that. I used to, but I don't anymore. I'm mostly just looking at the schematic at large. And we'll see these distribution schematics and accumulation schematics. Just note that these are rough approximations of what Wyckoff saw time and time again in markets, right? It's not supposed to exactly replicate the accumulation or distribution schematics, but they're uncanny. It's uncanny how similar those schematics are to real life examples time and time again. So, it just really stands the test of time. Turn of the 20th century, these guys, Wyckoff, Elliott, came out with all of these theories on price action, and we're still using them 100+ years later. Really, really fascinating stuff. So, why do I say do not buy the top? Again, Very, very important to understand that I'm not saying that if you're already invested to sell, if you're selling at a loss, I'm not giving you financial advice, but there's no reason to sell at a loss. If you're not in profit, you can just sit on your hands. I'm talking to those looking to invest fresh profits, fresh money into the market. Now is not a good time. Very clearly, you can see this big red channel on your screen. Okay, that's a channel that's been going now for about 170 some odd days. Okay, so for 170 some odd days, the price has shown resistance at this level. That's the first thing. One of the main rules in finance is buy low, sell high. One of the main rules in technical analysis is sell resistance, buy support. It's the same thing. It's as basic as you can get. When you're looking at 170 plus day resistance, you do not want to buy that. And I understand the logic. I've been there before, we all have. You want proof of concept. People want to buy something that's proven. They don't want to buy something when it's low. They want to buy something when it's high. Not all of you. I'm not talking down on you all. A lot of you are extremely advanced and great traders. Especially some of my clients are amazing traders. They don't even know how good a trader they are. They're very humble, but they're really, really freaking good traders. You don't want to buy resistance. You want to buy support. What does that mean, practically speaking? That means when you want to buy it when it's low, when people aren't really that excited about it. People get excited about things that go high. And the highest you can go, structurally speaking, is when you get to resistance. That's why a lot of very unseasoned amateur traders, influencers, they are telling you to buy high at resistance, at 174-day resistance. Keep that in mind. It's not an opinion I'm giving you. I'm giving you a fact. That's a fact that we are at resistance. And I can hear some people thinking, well, Bitcoin's extremely strong, the economy is strong, Trump is doing this, blah, blah, blah. Why can't we just break it? Yes, that's possible. Resistances are broken. They are, for sure. But how are resistances broken? And this is why I said in the previous video, if you are bullish at this level, what you want to see is a rejection to the next logical support, which is the midline of this 170 plus day channel, then a break of resistance. That's the bullish thesis in the immediate short term for Bitcoin. A rejection at minimum to around 90 some odd K, then a flight up and through 174 plus day resistance, but not expecting this to just magically break or 170 plus day resistance to be ignored. Okay, so that's the short of it. Don't buy resistance. Don't get so, understand why you feel the way you feel. And this is really, really helpful as in trading, in investing. Understand why you feel the way you feel. You feel the way you feel because Bitcoin, the asset, has been going up since the beginning of April, right? Modestly, but it has, from 76 all the way up to where we are right now, 103. And so you feel, I want more. Maybe you didn't buy at the bottom. Maybe you bought over here. I want more. I want higher. It's been going high. Why wouldn't it continue? Understand, that's what you're thinking when you're panic buying. People like to talk about panic selling. It's more panic buying that happens more often than not. Panic buying over here. Wait for the retracement, which is more likely than not to happen at the very least here. We are likely to get this retracement to this level around 90K, which is the midline of this 170 plus day channel. But I believe, and actually we may dip down a little below it, but around in and around that level, right? I think 87, 88, but same thing. And then we get a move up, but that again won't be the bullish breakout. In my estimation, it'll be a lower high, which is part of the downtrend that I've been discussing on this channel. But I think at this point, like I said last video, this is where some altcoins that are close to support are going to rally. And I think that right there is the beginning of the first tried and true move of Altseason 2025. That when Bitcoin hits around 87 to 90K. All right, that's what I'm seeing. Now let's get into the Wyckoff analysis. All right. So you can see here, and I like, pause the video if you like. Like I said, go on stockcharts.com, pull these up. There's explanations. I think we're in phase C. The last point of supply. Okay, and I'm going to explain why I believe that is. So my first reason for believing that is I'm just looking at the schematic, and one to one, I see this as my PSY, right? I see that as my BC. I see this as my up thrust right here in phase B. And then I think this is all phase B into phase C. I see this as the LPSY, last point of supply. And I think that our big downtrend goes into or our big downtrend starts from this last point of supply. And actually, so let me remove it now, the schematic. I like that read, because if you look at it in terms of AB basing, now I'm talking Elliott Wave analysis, it corroborates. So in Elliott Wave analysis, you need 2 degrees of AB basing in a pivot, or 3 pairs of AB bases to complete a distribution. Remember, what is a distribution? When we talk about it, practically speaking, it's when price goes from one trend and changes direction into another. That's what we call a distribution. That is the processing. That's the processing of a trend from one direction or from one way into another. Same thing happens for on every time frame. It's just for large ones, for large moves, you need large distributions. Ergo, our 174-day distribution channel, right? For 174 days, people have been like, yeah, it's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. We've just been chopping. What's that chop? That chop is what we call a distribution trend. They're useful insofar as you want to position yourself to either short or de-risk, i.e. not buy and sell or just sit on your hands, or buy. In the case of an accumulation, you want to buy, you want to prepare yourself for an uptrend. So being able to read the intermittent consolidations is very useful. One could argue the most useful skill in technical analysis, being able to read that stuff, because this is pretty easy, simple. They're trends. Everybody can read a trend, right? It's either going up or down. Market is seldom in those phases, and more often than not in these intermittent phases. Okay, so I do think we're at the last point in supply, and when you look at it in terms of Elliott Wave analysis, I'm seeing once again the beginning of the distribution channel in December of 24. That was my initial break of structure. That's my first flat correction. That's my secondary flat correction. That's a pair. That's my first pair of flats. Second pair of flats right here. That A wave, that B wave, or alpha beta, I called it. And then small a, small b up here. Okay, and I think we are currently in small b. So I'm zooming down into the 4-hourly time frame. And what I call small a is this. Boom, boom, boom. That's a flat correction. And I think what you're seeing here is my... I think it's something like that. Small b. But I wouldn't be surprised if A, this was to hover here and continue to bleed, or if we got a small push up, but that small push up stayed within the umbrella of resistance here, because you typically see tops form rounded features. Again, let's go on the high time frames. We saw that same feature. We always see that same feature. I mean, like, it's very common. Tops and bottoms form rounded features in technical analysis. That's one of the signs of a breakdown, right? So we saw that here, and we envisioned it, and we thought it was going to happen. So this is why we were so enthusiastically calling for the drop at this point, because, I mean, there you got your umbrella, you got your rounded top, there's the breakdown, but it continued. Now you have this same feature, this rounded top here on a smaller time frame. Back to the 4-hourly time frame, zooming in. So just schematically, I would not be surprised if you did get a small push up. You did get that push up, but it stayed within these bounds, or in and around these bounds. But I do think in some way, shape, or form, this is the complementary B wave. And I'm trying to make it out, to be honest. Let's jump down into the hourly time frame, see if I can see it. Okay, yeah, this is my flat correction right here. So if this is my A wave, I think this is my... wait. Let me turn on my momentum indicator. I need a little help. Okay, you know what? I think you do this. I think you come down a little more. That forms the base of that B wave, and then you go up here. And then boom, you dump. And again, remember, contextually, we are in and around the full moon, which happened on Sunday the 12th. Usually, statistically, 0 to 3 days after the lunar event, you have your local market bottom. I don't know that we're necessarily going to get that market bottom within that time frame, which would mean either on by Friday, or by the weekend, because I don't know if the weekends count. But all that is in play. All I'm saying is, I'm expecting a complement to this move up, but marginally up, in and around these resistances, and subsequent to that, a dump. And again, my target to the downside is going to be, let me get a little more. My target to the downside is about 87, 88. I would pull it down. 87.5, I would say, best guess. 87.5, I like. Yep. 87, 88. Okay, for my first wave down. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. And again, this, and I said this before, and we'll go over it again when we look at the total 3. This is where I expect a lot of big moves in the altcoin space. Not every altcoin, but those altcoins that are well positioned and close to support. Okay, so that's my analysis. It looks to be playing out. Just be very, very careful. You know, don't take my word for it. One of the reasons my videos are so long and they're not like 5 to 10 minute, hey guys, it's gonna dump, it's gonna pump, buy the fucking dip, buy bit, sign up for my exchange partner. It's because my primary concern on this page is sharing ideas. Not that I have all the answers, but this actually helps me in my analysis. Go over it, sharing it with you all, getting ideas from you all, and not just telling you what I think is going to happen. I'm telling you why I think it's going to happen. And in so doing, you can make your own mind up. So, you know, there's certain, you know, pompous people commenting, oh, this guy's going to make you lose money. Like, dude, you all do what you want. One of the reasons the videos, again, are so long for those of you that are low IQ is so that you can make your own mind up, because I'm giving you my rationale. If you agree with it, then you follow it. If you don't, then you do the opposite. Counter trade me. Have fun, right? So that's the whole point. I'm giving you my whys, not just what. Now, let's move on to Bitcoin dominance, because this is something that I think is very, very compelling. And Bitcoin dominance, remember, it's a measure of Bitcoin's dominance vis-a-vis the rest of the cryptocurrency market. When it's going up, Bitcoin's typically dumping, alts are dumping even more. When it's going down, it's alt season, okay? And very simple analysis here. We've had a very strong move up for a while, but most recently, you can decipher a rising wedge. And this, well, there's quite a larger rising wedge, but the smaller rising wedge, I'm talking about the one that starts here. Okay, so this is its base right here. Very important. Very important. Consider the base of this rising wedge and the breakdown that we've recently got of this rising wedge here. Now, high time frame resistance, high time frame support broken has to be retested as resistance. That's technical analysis 101. You always have to retest any feature that's high time frame or even small time frames as resistance or support before continuing, right? Every corrective move happens in flavors of 3. 1, 2, 3. So when you're looking at this chart, and remember, this is the base right here, right? Boom. Let's just leave that on there for a second. This breakdown of Bitcoin dominance has started to happen. Now you have to retest the bottom support that you lost of this. Now let's look at it, right? The larger the time frame, the larger the event, the more likely it is to play out, the more confidence inspiring it is to play out. So this is a 160 plus day support broken, has to be retested, right? And here's your retest. So if Bitcoin dominance does this retest, we're going to jump down on the small time frames. I'm going to show you the features of that retest already in the works. But you can see in terms of our stochastic RSI momentum indicator, we're completely bottomed out, oversold, i.e. the momentum for Bitcoin dominance is likely to go up very soon. Okay, you double bottomed here, boom, boom. So you can see it's very likely that you get a retest of this bottom in the immediate short term. Bitcoin dominance again going up means what? That means everything dumps, alts dump even more than Bitcoin, right? That looks like it's right. It's very close. It's in the immediate short term. Let's jump down to the 4-hourly time frame. Let's actually go into the hourly for this. Let me show you something. So on the hourly time frame, you can see what has been happening with Bitcoin dominance. Ever since about the 10th of this month, you've gotten this bottom. You've gotten this falling wedge. And you have the first pair, second pair, this will be the third pair. So I think we get that last move up in the B wave of Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance falling down, everything goes up one more leg, not up, but like up in their resistance, in their distribution channels before this shoots up. This entire thing breaks out. Again, you have 3 pairs of flat corrections. 1, 2, 3, boom. Bitcoin dominance going up once more means that you're expecting a large move down, and that large move down is likely to be confluent with Bitcoin's move to our 87K region. To 87K region, like I just showed you on the chart. So that's what we're seeing at a Bitcoin dominance chart. You can make the argument that, oh no, this is just Bitcoin dominance chopping down to dump. That, sure, anything's possible, but I don't think it's probable, especially given the fact that again, this bottom support that you lost is 160 days. It has to be retested as resistance before completely leaving it. All right, last but not least, let's look at some altcoin. Let's look at altcoins using the TOTAL3 market cap. Remember, the TOTAL3 is Bitcoin, or the whole crypto market cap minus Bitcoin minus Ethereum. So it's representative of altcoins at large. Let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. And the idea, like I said in the last video, actually, let's go on daily. The idea is you've popped out of this 90-day channel right here. Actually, 4 hours is better. Yeah, you've popped out of this 90-day channel. Now you have to retest it as support. So as Bitcoin goes down to 87, 88, that first intermediate level of support, altcoins are also collectively going to dump. But, big but, some altcoins, not all, but some altcoins, those that are on support, those that are closer to support, are going to retrace for their ultimate retest of, what do you see here? This is what you can call a bullish reversal pattern, an inverse head and shoulders, or you can call it a cup and handle. It really doesn't matter. That's why I like the term bullish reversal pattern, because it's a very clear bullish reversal pattern with the clear resistance here. This was the breakout. This is the retest. That retest happens confluent or concurrently while Bitcoin comes down to the 87, 88 level, that first wave of our big drawdown. And then that is the first real move of Altseason 2025 in my estimation. So last thing I want to show you on this chart is this. Jumping down to the hourly time frame, what do we see? Well, from what I see, I spy a mini distribution channel, right? You're not going to get a breakdown without distribution. Right here. You come up, that's your first rejection. That's your, so let's count this Elliott Wave style. That's my initial, secondary, or sorry, that's my initial break of structure, or my A wave. That's my initial retest. Call it B wave. That's my secondary break. Call it alpha. That's my secondary retest. Call it beta. That's my tertiary. Look at this. Midline. You're finding support, temporary support at the midline with this pivot. This is why I call it a pivot. Call it small a, tertiary break of structure. And right now, you're forming the tertiary retest, or B wave, small b. This would complete the distribution channel, or the 2 degrees of AB basing and the pivots, or 3 pairs of AB bases. At this point, I'm expecting the beginning of the downtrend in altcoins, generally speaking. So I'm seeing, and again, go ahead, do your own research. And I always encourage people, and part of why I like doing these longer videos is because I like to show my work. Part of that involves you all doing your own research, going on stocktrader.com or stockcharts.com, whatever it is, pulling up Wyckoff distribution chart, looking at it and seeing, oh, does this make sense? Oh, I can see what Dean's talking about. I'm seeing a bearish reversal pattern, a head and shoulders, right? I'm seeing all of the features of bearishness, right? I'm seeing a rounded top. I can see what he's talking about being bearish at these levels. I can see why he's saying take profit if you're in profit. I can see why he's saying don't invest fresh money at these levels for a long trade. If anything, position yourself short for, things like Solana or Ethereum or whatever, something that is going to enter a relatively large downtrend. Be very careful, because there's some really bullish assets that don't have far down to go, and once they hit those support levels, they're going to rip. Be very careful, not financial advice. But that's pretty much it for me, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you got value. Consider buying me a coffee, i.e. tipping me via Litecoin, Venmo, Cash App. And do consider joining my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service. Also can be signed up through the link at the pinned comment below, where I help you position yourself into altcoins that are actually going to give sustained gains during the bull market. And I give you what do you call those? I give you levels. Where to buy and where to sell every month. So, and we talk about up to 2 hours one-on-one every month. Yeah, that's the service. You can sign up at the Buy Me a Coffee link at the pinned comment below. Hope this was good for y'all, and I hope you're well positioned, and I hope you make some money with whatever happens. All right, take care. Bye.
Seems I wake in the days while the world spins without me. Arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon His glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in His hands. Come on. Yeah.
And it looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, and like I didn't even know, y'all. I have Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit or better than letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all. Run it.